All right, here we are for our monthly videocast again. How are you, Anna? Hey, hey.
I'm very well. How are you, Hunter?
I'm good. Well, I'm back to China, and last time in our September videocast, we managed to meet each other, right? We were there in person, but I'm afraid that now we're back to to be here in the separate continents, right? I hope things are going well in Italy, though.
Yes, so things are okay in Italy in general, I would say. So, we're like back to a more normal life than I guess the one that you have there, even if also COVID is rising a bit. And we are still having like a heat wave. That's how they call it. So, like very, very warm autumn, and it's very enjoyable. I don't think it's good for our planet, but it's definitely very enjoyable. So we're all good over here. How are things in Beijing?
I mean, like, with the energy prices as they are, I'm sure it's good to have a little bit heat outside. Things are okay here. It is a bit of a problem to go back and forth between China and the rest of the world right now. Most places have opened up, but China really hasn't. So, for me, I had to spend almost a month to get back into the People's Republic. It took me first like a week basically to get. Sorry. It took me almost a week to get through like all the testing in Europe, and then there was a week of quarantine that I did in Xi'an, and then there was an extended quarantine for 3 days, and then after I came to Beijing, there was like another week that I had to do, and so there's quite a bit of hassle. But now that we are on the ground back here in Beijing, there is plenty of things that we want to do, and we can maybe share with you in this video cast, right? So we are trying to be bold and we want to start organizing physical events again. And there could be a possibility to do that. We have great ambitions, including the Forum for European Researchers in China, which we are thinking about doing in November really soon. And we will talk about that in a bit. But first, before we get to that, I was thinking maybe we could discuss a little bit what we've been up to. Maybe we can start with in September. We were obviously all together in um, in Brussels. That was a pretty nice place. We were able to go and meet our colleagues in Praxis who are organizing and coordinating EURAXESS worldwide. And I know that they are always up to a lot of interesting things, including our colleagues in EURAXESS hubs all around the world. So we're not alone here in EURAXESS China. There are also hubs in a lot of other countries. And if you want to learn a little bit about what that is all about, you can take a look at our video cast from that time. Like we had an interview with Nikos, who is the coordinator for EURAXESS worldwide, and I think that was pretty cool. But following that, we did a lot of events, right? We've been doing quite a bit of webinars, Anna.
Yeah, of course. We're not going to stop to be online, even if we are gonna try to have some pretty big physical events. So yes, I think our first webinar in September was the one about Mercury Staff Exchange, and I thought that was quite interesting, and we had a good participation because also we haven't talked specifically about Staff Exchange in a webinar dedicated only to this opportunity for quite a while. So it was I would say quite good. We had a speaker from UK, UK NCP, and from the UK Research Institute, and she explained. She gave quite an extensive presentation of what this is about. So we had researchers and people representing research institutions based in China that were there to discover what's needed for there. The staff exchange is open to third countries, so it's really a good opportunity both for institutions and researchers to explore collaborations with Europe. So yeah, I thought that was quite good. And what do you think, Halder? That was our first activity.
Yeah, we did that. The Marie Curie is obviously always like a thing that we are really keen on supporting people because it is the main mobility program of the European Union, right? And one of the sort of slogans of EURAXESS is researchers in motion. So we are here to help with mobility of researchers. This could include individual fellowships, like where individual researchers are going around the world. And if you're interested in that, we always do our individual fellowship webinars every year. And even this year, right, we didn't mention, but we did like a follow-up activity for those that were actually actively applying for those individual fellowships, you know. So we tried to help people in general, and also give them like customized help and everything. And the staff exchange, of course, is like a way for institutions to send their individual researchers all over the world to work in other institutions between China and Europe, etc. But we also did another webinar, which is about another huge program for individual researchers within the European Union, which is the European Research Council grants, right? This is basically the prestige project, right? These are the prestige research grants available to researchers, and is open to researchers all over the world, where they can get like these huge grants, millions of euros, to implement cutting edge science, you know, frontier pushing scientific project, you know. It's supposed to be best of the best, really, really popular in Europe, and absolutely open to Chinese researchers. So we were organizing this webinar where we decided to sort of go more into the practical points of view. We did this in collaboration with the European Research Council itself, where we had with us basically a person that represented the national contact points, which are these people that can help people coming in to Europe. There were also a speaker that represents the host institutions. When you are applying for European Research Council grants, you always need to have a host institution that you can play with in Europe. And we also had this excellent testimony from a Chinese researcher that shared his experience with going to the European Research Council, the ERC, and getting this grant. I thought that was, in particular, a good one and interesting for his colleagues here in China to hear about, right, Anna?
Yes, for sure. I think like having a testimony, like, you know, a Chinese citizen who already got a consolidated grant is really like very valuable for those who are applying. He really shared his experience in applying, in getting ready, and sharing his, you know, his points on like what you need to care about, what you need to pay attention to, and what is not really important. Also to get ready for the interview as a second step when you get selected. So yes, and it was also like a little bit different from the other ERC webinars that we organized in the past. It was very practical, and I think probably of a lot of interest to Chinese researchers, as both the NCP speaker and the host institution speaker were talking about the services they provide to researchers who are applying, who researchers who are moving to Europe. So it's not things that I think we talk about every day. So I hope it was useful for those who participated. And so yes, that was also another important webinar we held recently, and we also continue our collaboration with Taylor and Francis. And so this time they helped us and supported us with a speaker who focused on peer review. And also, that was an innovative element of that webinar is that we held it in Chinese. And so I hope you know our audience appreciated. We thought that normally we address both European and Chinese researchers based in China, but we thought that for that specific topic and that particular webinar, we would try to focus on the Chinese audience. And by talking to them in their own language, we'll be able to really like dive in you know in the details of peer review and you know how to be a good peer reviewer and how to go through peer review in a successful way. What do you think, Halder? Do you think that was a good choice of ours?
Yeah, I think almost all of these are really useful webinars for researchers. They help people to basically learn about the best funding opportunities in Europe, as well as like really nice practical workshops about how to develop a career and use the things that every researcher has to sort of face to do that. And if you're interested in these things now, even though they have passed, we make a point of making sure that we do upload them always online into our archives, so you can find them there. If you're watching this from Europe, you can basically go to the EURAXESS China YouTube page and you should be able to find it. And if you're watching it here in China, we try to put it always on Youku as well. Well, you can probably find our link to our Youku page on our website, china.euraxess.org. So this is all work that we do quite a bit of, and we are always happy when people can sort of come back to it later and keep benefiting from it. So these are all webinars, and but besides the webinars, we are also wondering what we can be doing now physically, right? And one of the big things that we've always tried to do every year is Forum for European Researchers based here in China. We normally do it a little bit earlier in the year, but we had our plans for the first and second quarter that basically we weren't able to implement, simply because there's been quite an issue here in China to organize any physical events in 2022. But we're sort of hoping that maybe we can do it this time in November, and it's going to be all right. Although we are looking and monitoring the situation really closely every day, and we're also really aware of that. Unlike in a normal year, where people from all over China would be flying to Beijing to joining our forum, it's very expected that many people will not be able to come in person, because simply leaving your campus is not that easy as the situation is right now. Traveling is not so normal and comes with its own risk and so on. But for those people that do want to join us, we do offer them to come and welcome them and try to support them to do this. So what we are discussing right now is the Forum for European Researchers in China. And for the Forum for European Researchers in China, we decided to make it happen in Shanghai this time. And the reason for that is because of this restrictions in mobility. We thought it has always been fun to receive everybody here, to the delegation of the European Union in Beijing, and get people to come. But honestly, the biggest single city for European research in China is Shanghai. So we thought we might this time come to them to do the event over there, to make it possible for more people to come, right? And we've already opened the registration a little earlier this week and have quite a bit of people that are interested in coming. Sure, about half of them want to join us on site in Shanghai. But on top of that, we are also getting a lot of people that are going to be joining us through our online sort of participation. So this is going to be a hybrid event, right, Anna? Last time we did that as well in 2021. Like, how did it work that time with the online participation?
Well, I think it was very complicated to organize, but I think we made a lot of people happy. And so we thought we need to replicate this year again. Not all the activities are going to be hybrid. So for those who are in Shanghai, or those who are in the area might be able to travel, then if you're willing to take the risk, because it's always a little bit of a risk, I think it's going to be enjoyable and also more fun. And you're really not going to miss anything. But we are making sure that most activities are going to be hybrid. So yes, it's going to work a little bit like we did in 2021. So we're going to have monitors and speakers and microphones on site, and everybody that is not going to be traveling from other parts of China or even from Europe, because we're also going to have a few European researchers that would normally be based in China but are stuck in Europe, that will join us. They will connect through Zoom. So you can be on your couch and just connect to the Zoom, and you will be able to listen to the